What advice would you give someone, somebody, I don't know, could they be in their 20s, maybe 30s, but what advice would you give someone who wants to start a company today?
Just do it. Like, what's the worst that can happen?
Fair enough.
You can try. If it's not for you, or if you don't succeed, then you go back to having a job. But imagine the good things that could come off the back of what if it does work, and what if you do make a really successful company. I think you've got to be willing to work really hard, and you've got to sacrifice a lot of personal time and probably money to begin with to do it. I think you want to be as organized and committed and disciplined as possible to have the best shot at it. But unless you're someone that's really, really risk averse and very kind of enjoy being in your comfort zone, I think there's the downside is time and money. So if you can afford to spare a bit of that aside to potentially give you a massive upside in your future and career, it's just personally a risk worth taking.
Now, earlier on, you touched on that, you would do quite a few things differently. Looking back, could we talk about a thing or two of what you would have done differently had you been setting up the company today?
Yeah, I think I'd probably put a lot more systems and controls and processes and structures in place, because I think when you're starting a business, not having done it before, there's so many moving parts that you don't even know what you don't know. Like looking back, like you've got things like just website and promotional material and like what we look like from the outside world and then you've got your kind of boring processes and setups, and then you've got finance and budgeting and cash flowing, and it's just all these elements that like to me now just seem common sense, but to me 6 years ago didn't. And working in a company, you've got your HR, you've got your finance, you've got your legal, and every time you got a question, you just go there and things happen and you just assume that they happen, but they don't. There's people in the background doing things that planned it and put them in place. So I think seek as much advice as you can, read and learn as much as you can, ask questions, take courses to try and educate yourself more, whether that's on a business setup or on in your industry.
Right.
And ask for the support. Most people are willing to give it.
So we're getting towards the end of it. Now, what motivates you today that, obviously when 6 years ago you were motivated to set up a business and run the company, has your motivation changed a bit? What same thing motivates you today that did 6 years ago, or has that changed?
I think that the motivation that has always drive me is kind of achieving and building something that I can look back and be really proud of. And I think then it was, can I do it, or what can I do? And like, because I was still in that kind of very new building era, but now we've got kind of a solid company, and I think my team is what I love looking kind of back to, and like we've built a great team, and they're fully invested and part of the business. And I think I want to do better for them too, because they're giving kind of their everything for the company. And yes, of course, like better financial returns are important, or other things, achieving other things, but it's also, I have a team that love working in the company, enjoy being part of it, and the culture and so on. And I think like making them proud as well, and having a great environment to work in is equally as important.
One piece of advice for people who are going to be listening to this podcast, from just looking back at your career so far, if you had to give one.
Yeah, I think if it was directed at your audience within the group.
Yes.
The Women in Finance group is an initiative that I love the idea about. And I think when we first met, me and Laura come away from that meeting buzzing. We love the initiative. We love what you're trying to do. And I think there's, I guess, lack of, not necessarily opportunities, but that kind of open and comfort space for women to participate in things. And I was very fortunate that I had so many people support me in my journey today, and I would be nowhere without them. So if we could give that same support back to people, I'd love to do it. So if the one piece of advice I would give is join the group and come here to support, for us to support you. And if you want to take that leap of setting up a business, then you need to find the right people to kind of help push you forward, because it's not an easy thing to do. I'm not going to sit here and say there's not been days where I'm pulling my hair out. It's horrible some days, but other days it's amazing.
Yeah.
But and you reap the rewards kind of across so many different areas. But being part of a group that can support you and help push you forward is incredibly powerful, and you should definitely take the opportunity.